This is the thing, and you got to give them credit as far as revamping this roster. They're not playing the style they played at with last year. They're playing more with Harden, dominating the basketball. That style's been effective. Since January 23rd, they're the best team in the NBA. So I think they're in the right position, but more importantly, Chris Paul is healthy. And if he can be healthy when they face the Warriors, that gives them the best chance.
And they did a good job of adding pieces to this team after losing a couple key pieces, adding Armand Shepherd, adding Kenneth Faried, Austin Rivers.
Yes.
Got the roster back as talented as it was last year. They got a legitimate shot of taking on the Golden State Warriors.
All right, moving on. Giannis left last night's game against the Clippers after re-aggravating that sprained ankle. Tough break for the guy trying to win his first MVP and lead the Bucks on an extended playoff push. Antoine, will this sidetrack the Bucks' title hopes?
A little bit. Obviously, you want to make sure he's 100% going into the playoffs. So you got 6 games left. You got a little cushion. You got a 4-game league as the best record in the league. So that gives you a little sigh of relief. But they need to get him back 100%. He's a rhythm player. He plays above the rim. So you got to make sure that ankle's 100%.
Yeah, it's probably this is their 3rd or 4th injury. Paul Gasol, he's injured. Brogdon, their most important, their starting guard, he's injured with that plantar injury. He's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. You don't need Giannis. You need Giannis to be healthy. I think they should rest him for at least the next week, last couple games. If he's healthy enough, try to get him at least 1 or 2 games before the playoffs start.
All right, let's stick in the East. Joel Embiid had a dominant performance last night. He scored 39 points, grabbed 13 boards in a win over the Nets. Antoine, what's the most impressive part of Joel Embiid's game?
One is size, his ability to put the ball on the floor, shoot the 3, array of moves. Could arguably be one of the top 3 centers of all time because we've never seen a skill set by a big man like this in a long time. You should look at a team Elijah on and be like, oh, he was terrific. But this guy here has a different skill set. His ability to do so many things on the court is unbelievable.
Yeah, most impressive thing, Jenna, when he's been on the court, he's so consistent. He's got 27 games this year where he scores 30 points and grabs 10 rebounds, best in the NBA. That right there, been able to do it at a high level because we thought that he was nice in the post. We didn't know he could score as much as he can score. Like typically a big man, if he's really good, he's gonna get you 17 to 22. We don't see big men being one of the top 5 scorers in the NBA. One day, he could potentially lead the NBA in scoring. That part right there is impressive.
All right, finally, the Celtics are taking on the Pacers tonight. Could very well be a preview of the first round of the Eastern Conference playoffs. The Celtics have struggled recently, winning only 1 of their last 5 games. Antoine, do you trust Kyrie Irving and this team with the playoffs right around the corner?
Not right now. It's tough to say that you trust them. They're not playing good basketball. Got off the snide the other night with Kyrie sitting out against Cleveland. But tonight is going to be a huge game to see where they're at. A team they're going to have to face possibly in the first round. They lost 12 games at home, so I believe that. I'm not saying that the home court is that important, right? Because they haven't been great at home. But this will see the rotation, see who's going to be the best matchups for them going against the Pacers. So. And they also play, they're going to play them over an 8-day period twice. So this would be huge for them to see where they at going to the Pacers, if they could see if they could match up really well them to get in advance.
Yeah, this question, I have to separate it. And I have to separate the Celtics from Kyrie. So 2 questions. Do I trust Kyrie? I trust Kyrie. I cuss the Celtics. Now, I know Kyrie is on the Celtics, and the Celtics don't play as good as basketball. Their system is not as efficient when he's on there. But Kyrie is having a career here. It's not his fault that his style is at conflict with Brad Stevens and what he wants to do. It's not his fault that the other players have not grown in their 2nd year. It's not his fault that Gordon Hayward did not bounce back from the injury and is not as explosive. It hadn't been consistent. Like those things, but when you're the best player and you're a potential free agent, and then some of his answers to some of the other questions, I could see why people would blame him. But I believe Kyrie is going to have one of the better playoffs that he's had because he's going to be sending a message. Now, does that lead to the Celtics playing their best basketball? I don't believe that their system will allow both those things to happen.
This kind of reminds me, and it's not that we had some injuries, but we won a championship. The second to this, when we was trying to repeat, we kind of cruised through the season. Shaq missed 30-plus games. D. Wade was out, and we won 44 games. But the problem with that is that we were not a very good basketball team. We thought we were going to be able to turn it on because of our championship pedigree. After we won it the year before, we thought we could just turn it on. The roster was pretty much the same. We came back with the same guys, and we got swept by the Chicago Bulls. I mean, they kicked our butts in the first round of the playoff series. It's not the kind of, I wouldn't put it as that bad with Boston. I think they have the ability to win in the first round series, but you can't just turn it on come playoff time.
Right.
Don't you think the Celtics can look to what the Pacers did this year and say, hey, that was us last year. Great complimentary basketball without their star player, but just doing it without a lot of drama, without a lot of noise, quietly making their way through the Eastern Conference. It seems like maybe they can take something out of this game tonight on what it's like for them to do, for the Pacers to be doing basically what the Celtics did last year on their push to the playoffs.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a good story, but I don't believe that either their front office or their coach is going to point to the Pacers and try to use them as an example, because you're in real time. Man, Terry Rozier wants to play more. He wants a big-time contract. Kyrie is thinking about where he's going to go this offseason. Gordon Hayward's still not getting any better, and he's still getting those minutes. Jaylen Brown, man, one day, him and Tatum, they want a max deal. So all these things, yeah, Indiana, great story there. Great story with the Pacers. The Celtics did have that last year, but it's hard to believe for Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward to join this young, talented team and for them to be like, hey, man, it's our fault. Like, the team's not as good this year with us. So I don't think that will be their perspective going into this series or these games, last couple games with the Pacers.
So then my follow would be, why has it been so hard for Kyrie why has he been struggling with leadership so much this season? Why has that been so tough for him?
Well, sometimes, you can bite off more than you can chew. And you got to remember this. You also got to remember, Cleveland is different than Boston when it comes to media. I played 7.5 years in Boston. That's a different animal when it comes to the media. I got Bob Ryan covering me, Jackie McMullen,
icons in the business
that have been around a long time, but that don't give you a break. I think now with social media, with the internet, it's different. And then Kyrie's getting asked the tough questions. You used to have LeBron James in that corner,
a little buffer.
You had LeBron James with 40 cameras in his face, and then you get to 10. Now you got the 40 in your face, and a lot of guys are not ready for that and don't understand that. When you play in major market cities where the local media, the radio stations are on you every day and watching your every move, you got to be prepared to answer those questions, and he was not prepared this year.
Yeah, and everyone, like a lot of times, and I believe that Kyrie and KD are put in this in the same light. It was a lot like Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn Lynch was not good with the camera. He did not feel comfortable, didn't want to do interviews, got a lot of fines, and really had a lot of negative publicity. Good football player, great in the locker room, guys love him, but we think that all these athletes are cookie cutter. All of them are going to do an interview like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan with the suit on, tie on, he's not sweating. Like, he was the first athlete that I ever saw that, man, he's got it all together. He's not win, lose, he remains calm after the game. He's never upset. And I asked Mike about it, and he was like, that's the image that I want to be able to give people. We don't give athletes that opportunity now. Now they have to have everything together. All their answers have to be correct, like Russell Wilson. You ask Russell a tough question. Russell, hey, man, love our teammates. Man, we're going to try it. We lost that one. Going to look at it, going to look at the film, going to try to get better. All these guys, KD, man, he's guilty of that from the public. Kyrie they're not bad guys. But as far as mastering the press conference and all that and trying to be a leader, like, sometimes we put that leadership on our greatest players, and sometimes they don't want to lead. They just want to follow. And that's what I think I saw this year with Kyrie.
So aren't you worried then if Kyrie does come to New York? There's no bigger place for media scrutiny than here in New York.
Oh, but yeah, you got to worry, especially if he's going to be 1A. But they have room for get 2 max guys. If he goes with a KD, not saying KD, but if you go with another guy that can kind of take that pressure off you. When you look at the Boston roster, they got good pieces on their team. They don't have another big personality on their team just yet.
Yes.
So, he goes to New York, it's going to be just as tough as it was in Boston. He got to be prepared
I
for
think
that.
the New York and the staff that they have there from the front office and what they're trying to do, Scott Perry, I think that they'll put some buffers out there. Also understanding with Fizdale, I know the personality of these 2 stars. Fizdale was with Dwayne Wade, with LeBron and them. You can be a buffer. Like Danny Ainge and them, they could help Kyrie and them out in these types of situations, realizing that's what Golden State's done. Now when Kevin Durant says something like, hey, it's not that big of a deal because they got Steph there, they got Clay there. They have other guys that are able to buff that message. And I believe the Knicks, if we have both of them here in the city, I believe the Knicks in their front office will have those types of things in place.
Sure, make for a good time. Antoine, we'll see you a little bit later on in the show. Take a break. Coming up, the Eagles making a big move. That's next. First things first.
Well, you got to work today. Okay, move your feet.